Hello everybody and welcome back to my Roblox how-to series on everything that you need to know about how to make Roblox games. Today is going to be the final how-to series video in the basic how-to section of this series. The series is not ending, but I am going to be moving to more advanced topics after this, so things are gonna kind of split from now on. This will be the splitting point. But for this final video, what we're going to be talking about is the text chat service. So, what we're going to be talking about with the text chat service is primarily what's inside of it, instead of like this instance itself in the Explorer. We're going to be talking about these three things: the chat window configuration, the chat input bar configuration, and the bubble chat configuration. We'll start with the chat window configuration. This is the window that appears in the corner of your screen when you want to type something into the chat. And what this allows you to do is you can go into its properties and change a ton of things about it. So if you want it to be maybe like a white or a green or maybe even like a blue color for your window, then you can do that. You can change its background color. You can change its transparency to be, really, really transparent, or it could be more solid. The font that text appears in, you can also change. So I'm just going to choose like a random one like Hypergothic or Fredoka 1, something like that. You can change style and weight, all this cool customization stuff. Text color can be changed as well. So if I want it to be really red, I can do that. The text stroke transparency, you can change that. Enabled. So you can enable or disable the chat window if you really want, so that people can't chat. You can change the height and the width scale too, so if you want it to be really long or really wide, you can change that too. I'll even change this so that I can show you that when I change that kind of stuff, then it does actually look different in the game. So if I go to here now, look at that. The chat window is a different color, and if I say something in the chat, then it's red instead. That's all cool and all, but there is even more customization that you can do. And it's not found in here, but rather it's found in the other two sections here: the chat input bar configuration and the bubble chat configuration. The chat input bar configuration is the little bar at the bottom of the chat window where you type in your message that you want to send into the chat. So I can go in here and it basically gives me the exact same thing. Like, you changing the color and all that kind of stuff. I can maybe make this like a purple. I can change it to be Fredoka 1, just like the other section of the chat window. We can change text color to maybe like a yellow, all that kind of stuff. You can even change the text size. So if I want it to be really, really big, like 38, then there you go. Keyboard key code. This is what activates it. So if you want, for some reason, if you want to change what button activates the chat, by default it's slash, and almost every single game on Roblox uses slash. But if you really want to, you can change it to be a different key on the keyboard. Let's see what kind of changes we made when I just changed around some of the properties. It's only going to appear to the bar. See, look, there you go. It's really big because I set the text size to be pretty large. And when I type in here, it's yellow. And it has the Fredoka 1 color, not color, sorry, it has the Fredoka 1 font to it. And it still shows up as red. All the other settings for the chat window still stayed the same. It's just the input bar. Now the last thing is the bubble chat. And this bubble chat actually does have a decent amount of customization here. Like, this bubble chat, it has an image label, so if you want it to show up as a different image, you can. Right now it's just white, but if you wanted, you could set the image of the bubble chat to be something different. I'm just going to use this birch logs texture that I have on hand right now, but it's going to look really weird. But if you really wanted to change it, you'd probably make something a lot better. I can change the corner radius if I wanted it to be super blocky. Maybe I can just make it like a 1, and then I can add a gradient as well, a transparency. Like, watch, if I wanted a pink kind of color, then it would go like that. And by default, it's also not enabled, so you have to go in and enable it to do that. Change the rotation, all the kind of properties of a regular GUI button. And just like the other two that we looked at before, it also has the same kind of configurations with, you know, the fonts and the background color and the text color, everything like that. It still stays the exact same with what kind of properties for the most part. If I wanted the text to be really big, I could even make it like 50 or something. Bubble duration is how long the little bubble lasts above your head. By default, it's 15 seconds, but you can make it really short, like 2 seconds. And bubble spacing is how far apart different bubbles are from each other. So if you say multiple messages, then this will determine the distance between those bubbles. So if I set it really high, then we'll see that in a second. Max bubbles is how many bubbles will show up until it starts removing the top one to replace it with the bottom. So I can make this maybe like 8. Max distance and minimum distance is how far away you can be before the text bubbles go away. And that's pretty much the properties of that. So let's go in and let's see the different changes that we made to the bubble chat, just so you can kind of visualize what's going on here. So I'm going to say hello. You can see the birch logs texture came up and it had that weird gradient on it. Really weird. But if I start saying a ton of messages, you'll see I can only do so many. It's kind of weird seeing it the way that I'm doing it right now because I've set it to such absurd settings. But if you really were to put some time and effort into this, then you really could make something pretty good looking, I think. But really, that's all I really wanted to talk about with the text chat service. I just wanted to give an overview of how you could customize it with the window, the input bar, and the bubble chat. Because some games, like Theme Park Tycoon, do have some customizations in them. And you might have been wondering, hey, how do I do that for my game? Well, there you go. This is how you do it. So, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you did enjoy this video. And join my Discord server. I have it linked in the description. You get updates about when new videos come out. And you also get updates that I don't post here on YouTube about my game that I'm working on, The Valley. Now, like I said, this is also the last video in the basic section of the how-to series. I've gone over all of the basic components inside of Roblox Studio, and now I'm going to start going into the more advanced stuff like organization and collection service attributes. And if you don't know what any of those words mean, I mean, you probably know what organization means, but if you didn't understand what the other things meant, then you're gonna be in luck because I'm gonna talk about all that kind of stuff, and you're gonna get to learn some new things. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.